He looks amazed. He's loving it.
It's like I could draw all my favorite Pokemon characters.
Hey everyone, Jeff from GamerPops again. We got the opportunity, my family and I, to go visit Nintendo's offices and get a look at some of the new games that are coming out. Mostly 2015, but some of them coming out this year, 2014. And just want to share a little bit of what we saw with you guys. What you're looking at right now is our youngest son, Gavin, fiddling around with Pokemon Art Academy. This is a game on 3DS, which basically is going to allow you to sort of draw your favorite Pokemon characters and basically bring Pokemon artwork to life using a variety of different tools. You can see Gavin's just trying to figure some of those tools out here right now. And he's 4, and he's able to sort of start drawing his little friend. I believe that's Froakie. And yeah, so this was one of the first games we saw. And I like it because it's not just teaching him how to draw Pokemon, but it's teaching him how to draw in general. And starting with simple shapes and moving on to more complex things like shading and blending. Next up, we have Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS, shown here being played by 6-year-old Malcolm. And this one is a little bit different from its Wii U counterpart. For one thing, it's handheld, and it's going to be out a little bit earlier, scheduled for October 3rd, 2014. And another unique part about it is the Smash Run mode. And in this one, up to 4 players are still going to compete head-to-head, but they're going to have 5 minutes to fight solo through a massive battlefield, defeat enemies, which will give them power-ups, which will then power them up for the actual battle that'll take place after that's done. So that's kind of neat, and while the fact that you can take it on the go is pretty good. It remains to be seen how well the online will work, but Malcolm seemed to enjoy it quite a bit when he got to play it. So this was Mario Party 10, or at least parts of it that were being showed. What we were being showed here was sort of Bowser levels, where one person got to play as Bowser and everyone else was competing against Best Buys. You can call it a 1 versus 4 minigame. I couldn't get the kids away from this one for the longest time. And we also noticed that they really like being Bowser and controlling the gamepad and doing these bad things to all the other people. This one, particular one we're looking at, is the pinball game. Which, of course, brings us to Smash Brothers for Wii U. Here you see Owen and Malcolm playing around, and they're playing a couple of CPU opponents. So they got to have a little bit of fun just on their own. This was the game that everybody who was at the event wanted to play, and it got pretty crowded, and for good reason. This game we're looking at holiday 2014. I like Smash Brothers because it's one of those games that, as the cliche goes, it's easy to pick up but hard to master. Anyone can pick it up, start playing. It's like 2 or 3 buttons is all you really have to know to do anything in it. But I played against some guys who clearly knew what they were doing, and they absolutely destroyed me. So I have a ways to go to get my Smash Brothers on. One thing I noticed was kind of interesting. Not sure if you can see in the video or not. They actually used the old school GameCube controllers for this game. And had the peripheral that Nintendo's going to make available with the 4 ports for the GameCube controllers, for the wired controllers. So I thought that was interesting. They chose to feature those controllers. Obviously, the game is still designed with those controllers in mind, so something to consider as we approach release. Up next is Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. This is an offshoot of the Captain Toad levels that was in Super Mario 3D Land, or 3D World, sorry, and it's just more fleshed out like this. Now, again, it's a puzzling game, not a platforming game, and I think my kids actually kind of got confused by it. Malcolm really struggled with this one because he kept thinking he could jump or try to play it like a straight Mario 3D title. But clearly that's not the case here, and so they actually walked away from it after a while. Now, I appreciated it for what it was, but it's something to keep in mind that this is not going to be a Mario game. You're not going to be able to jump around. Captain Toad is too heavy with all the stuff he carries around, so you have to sort of work around and work with your timing and whatnot, and really treat it like a puzzle game more than a platformer. Moving on next to Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. This, and my kids just absolutely go nuts for pretty much any Kirby game. In fact, Gavin said, I just want to play the Kirby game all the time. It was really cute. In fact, there's Gavin watching intently right there as Malcolm is playing the game. Now, this game is different than the typical Kirby games. It's all stylus controlled, and you can draw. Right now, you can see if you touch Kirby. As being demonstrated in the tutorial there, he'll roll and get some momentum going, not unlike a Sonic roll, perhaps. You can also draw a rainbow that he will actually be, that he'll actually travel along to help him climb things. So you can't really jump with him so much, but you can have him sort of scurry along and shifting over now to more open world. You can see if you draw it just right, he'll travel along that rainbow. And that's basically how he gets around. That's it. It is a pure stylus game. So again, this is a game where I kind of wondered why it wasn't on the 3DS, whereas it's going to be a Wii U exclusive. That said, still look good, still look fun. I couldn't get the kids away from this one. It's got a bit of a plasticine or a claymation or a clay look to it. Not claymation, but just like a clay look to it. So it's cool to see Nintendo still trying different art directions with these games, and it certainly works. That's for sure. It's a spiritual successor to Kirby Canvas Curse. You can see parts of that on here. Again, that was a DS game, so an interesting choice to go on the Wii U. But that said, again, the results speak for themselves, and the fact that I had to pretty much force the kids to get off it speaks volumes. And in fact, here's Gavin now. As you can see, the game also plays on the gamepad as well, so you can look at it there and play it on either screen. So I imagine off-screen play on the gamepad will also be supported. You see, again, 4-year-old, after a while, he was figuring out just fine. So yeah, Hyrule Warriors. I include this here more because the kids were kind of interested. They've started taking interest in Zelda, but it was also another game that was very popular with the attendees at the event. At one point, 2 different Wii U's were going with this game, and people were just going nuts over it. And I gotta say, just from looking at it, and I've talked about this with Greg before on previous videos, it certainly does bear out how interesting it looks. You can see there's just like tons of enemies just crowding around you, and just you're hacking and slashing away, and it actually did look kind of fun. I didn't get a chance to play it, and the kids sort of thought it was interesting. They recognized the Zelda characters and whatnot, but they were kind of busy going back to games like Kirby and the Rainbow Curse and Mario Party, and of course a game will be showing you coming up just in a couple of seconds here, Yoshi's Woolly World. So if you like the look of Kirby's Epic Yarn, I thought it was the top game for the Wii through its whole lifetime. Yoshi's Woolly World is a very similar concept. It's all yarn based, so that same artistic direction, but it's a Yoshi's Island game. So if you played Yoshi's Island games, you'll recognize some of the mechanics that are on display here right now. But the art style has gone to that yarn look, and that yarn look and gameplay, which has been borrowed liberally from Kirby's Epic Yarn, for example, certainly results in another gorgeous game, and one again that I couldn't get the kids away from. At the show, and at this point there were a lot more people, so I had to kind of drag them away from it. This is a game that, as soon as I saw it announced, I'm like, yeah, this is going to be another hit. And if it's anything like Epic Yarn was, if it can be the Epic Yarn game for the Wii U, something where people are playing 2-player co-op here, so it's certainly going to have that aspect going for it. And I think it's going to be another one of those games that's going to be just a massive family hit. Again, this is another game that supports gamepad play. You can see Gavin playing with it right now. Again, the 4-year-old, not doing too bad. And when he was having trouble, people were able to help him because of the co-op nature. They'd gobble him up and swallow him and spit him out and take him through some of those more difficult levels. I'm just going to talk quickly about a couple other games that we saw that we didn't get a chance to video. Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, the crossover game. Owen was on that for about a good half hour or more. Couldn't get him away from that one, so that was interesting. We didn't get to see other games like Mario Maker or Project Guard or Project Giant Robot, but they looked really cool from the little bits we saw. Hopefully we'll get to see a little bit more of those in the future. That's a look at our Nintendo preview. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, talk to you later.